Momocon 2025 was a lot of fun. There were some really awesome vendors, artists, and panels that got me thinking. Plus, as you may know, there's always a few tabletop role-playing games that I get to try. So in this video, I'll be discussing my experience at Momocon 2025. I'll be talking about my highs and lows, and also share a lot of my personal experiences while I was at this convention. So I'll be talking about what is Momocon, what does the setup look like, what nerdy things can you get up to, and my personal experiences, as well as if this might be good for you. So grab your suitcase, and let's make sure to say hi to everyone's favorite green mascot, Mo, because we are taking a quick trip to Atlanta, Georgia in May. Momocon is a multi-genre fan convention held generally in late May in Atlanta, Georgia. It happens around Memorial Day, and as of 2025, it was celebrating its 20th year anniversary. It started back in 2005 as a student-run gathering at Georgia Tech, but has, obviously from the footage, since exploded in the past 20 years. This year, Momocon brought in, according to WSB TV2 Atlanta, 59,222 attendees, ranging around AK 60,000, near 60,000 attendees for Memorial Day weekend. In terms of finances, it brought in an estimate of $42 million according to Atlanta Convention and Visitors Bureau. And in terms of charitable work, they're donating $12,500 to the Johnson STEM Activity Center in Atlanta. Last but not least, Momocon provided free tickets to 11 nonprofits, allowing them to bring more than 900 kids in need to the cosplay, animation, gaming, and music convention over that weekend. Overall, from an outside perspective, Momocon is a financial, commercial, and great success for Atlanta, as well for the nerd community and for nonprofits. Momocon is not specialized in any particular form of fandom, such as sci-fi, horror, tabletop games, video games, VR. No, it's super general. This means it offers a wider diversity of options for all folks in nerd culture, regardless of age, creed, background, fandom, or personality. Some of those hobbies slash fandoms slash nerd culture things are comic books and comic book signing, featured guests, cosplay, which also includes cosplay get-togethers and meetups at the convention, anime, board games, arcade gaming, specifically pinball, Galactica, and etc. By the way, this is separated into free arcade games and paid ones, esport tournaments, tabletop gaming, card games like Magic the Gathering, Lorcana, Pokemon TCG, console and PC gaming, LARPs, wrestling, a maid cafe, animation, VR gaming, paid workshops, and the Kid Zone, as well as the AFK Zone for those who need a break. Mind you, this convention also has an artist alley and exhibit hall where you can buy some of your favorite nerdy shirts, merchandise, equipment, or commission art. So to say the least, Momocon offers a lot for all kinds of nerds. Overall, there is a lot for all kinds of people, and I think that generality allows for Momocon to grow every year with all of its range of stars and things that come with it. Now, what did I get up to? For me, this convention was a way to do three things. See what other nerdy and fandom stuff was going on outside of my own tabletop role-playing game niche. 2, play new and different tabletop role-playing games, as well as buy new RPG stuff. 3, support local businesses and buy from local businesses and artists. In terms of my first point, I got the chance to go to a lot of different panels when I was in the area. There was the Plus Ultra Size Cosplay. This one discussed the hows and whats of shopping and cosplaying for fat folk. Kitty Monk ran a great session. It was very much a conversation rather than being talked at to, and I really did appreciate that. By the way, all the creatives that I mentioned will be named down below in the description box as well as linked. D&D Alternatives. This discussed how to introduce players to different games, as well as what games are good segues for 5e players. It also discussed what one could learn from playing and running their own games. It was super insightful and ran by tabletop RPG creatives across the industry. though sadly I didn't get their names and contact information. Sorry about that. There were also a lot of other panels that were between the rooms B27 all the way up to B404, and I just couldn't go to all of them. The time zones for some of them range from all the way at like 10 a.m. to 3 a.m. and my time was very specific of when I wanted to go and how long I wanted to stay, which is usually until 9 p.m. Now, in terms of things I got, well, my loot this year was a little less than my last year, in part because I was staying off the convention center, and secondly because I didn't see as much as I wanted than last year. But I did get a couple of things, and here they are. First is Mutiny Black Girl Magic issue number 2 by Fair Square Graphics. This is specifically written by Crystal Adams, art and colors were by Isaiah Fulmore, and editing was by Amanda Meadows. I got the original issue number 1, last year at Momocon. I loved the cover art and the bubbly colors and character design of Mariah Pleasant. One of my favorite parts to each issue is that they have multiple covers, which is always a damn gander to look at and to collect if you're a collecting guru. Next is Evergreen Burrows. I bought a cute poster as well as stickers like that really Dungeons and Dragons sticker. I also really love the collective and colorful array of dice print button-down shirts that they have. I got their 90s carpet dice print shirt last year and bought their green and black variant this year. Out of all the things I've bought at Momocon, I love coming back to Evergreen Burrows. The best part is they're always there, at least the last 2 years I've gone. If you ever want to go support them, now is the time to do it. I'll leave their link and their website down below in the description box. Land of Eam by Ben Costa and James Parks. I won this at a raffle in the tabletop RPG section, aka all the way up on the 4th floor. I believe it was in B407 or 408. Nevertheless, Land of Eam is a lighthearted fantasy RPG that focuses on the colorful and chaotic adventures and dungeon crawling of, well, some colorful cast of characters. The website even states it is Lord of the Rings meets the Muppets. Now, the best part is that this game is made for young people and old folk alike, since creators' other works are Dungeoneer's Adventures, which are made for middle grades. So if you have kids or young people who want to get into tabletop role-playing games, then Land of Eam is a perfect getaway. Old School Essentials Classic Fantasy Rule Tome by Necrotic Gnome. This was another amazing raffle item I got. I've been playing a lot of Old School Essentials the past year and change. So when I saw that they had this on raffle and I got selected, I just had to get this. Vast Grim by Infinite Black and Creature Curation. On my journey to play every Morkborg game and its derivative, I found out about Vast Grim. This is a game that is all about edginess, more with a 80s sci-fi horror twist that focuses on worms eating your brains. It's over the top, it's goofy, it's silly, and it's absolutely ridiculous, but it's one of the more earlier Morkborg iterations or derivatives. Obviously, since it is a Morkborg though, the mechanics aren't that deep, but the art and cover alone sold me, as most Morkborg games do. Now, in terms of games that I played, those were Call to Power and X-Crawl Classics using the 5e rules. Call to Power is a more horror RPG that's still currently in development and playtesting. I wasn't able to find much information on it, but Gihana Gaming are the ones who run much of Call to Power, as well as Hedron, which is the VTT that's going to be running Call to Power. So if you want to know more about them, check that below in the description box. As for X-Crawl Classics, we played that at a tournament style, and that was so much freaking fun. Trust me, nothing is more fun than, well, let's just say I won a miniature of Ronald Reagan. Yay. With this in mind, would I recommend you go to Momocon? I would say yes if you like a general and broad convention that has a mass appeal to nerd culture and nerd fandom. The convention is also on the cheaper end. In comparison to say Dragon Con, it's cheaper by almost $60 plus. I'll bet the price did go up by $5, it seems. from 2024 to 2025. I think it was 60 for 2024, but yay, thanks inflation. Nevertheless, it's still cheaper than say DragonCon or some other bigger size conventions. It is a bigger convention ranging around 50k people visiting nowadays. This allows for you to meet a lot of new and different people, not including any of the other social events that are there. I also think the location is super important. Since it is in downtown Atlanta, you have a lot of food options inside and outside of the perimeter. Just note, if you are driving into downtown Atlanta, it is a hassle, so take that into consideration and be sure to use public transit if possible. Also, since Atlanta is a multicultural city, i.e. has a huge Black and brown community, this also reflects in the panels as well as the demographics. This might look like the blur photo shoots, which are the best example I could think of. Finally, for the creatives and media, they are super responsive to media applications. I recall doing my media application around December, and I got accepted for Momocon 2025 pretty early. So take that into consideration if you are interested in going and you are media, like a YouTuber, Instagram influencer, or TikTok creator, or if you're part of some sort of organization. I would not recommend this convention if you want a very specific kind of nerd culture. Let's say you're interested in sci-fi or horror or VR or maybe video games or tournaments, right? You're not gonna get that. You might wanna go to EVO or Magic Con or say Gen Con or PAX Unplugged or PAX East or whatever convention I can pull out of my butt. Just make sure that this isn't on your list because Momocon is super general. Also, if you are already on the fence, I don't think you should go to Momocon either. Because of its super generality, it doesn't really pull one way or the other, which makes people who are interested in multiple things or who are very focused on one particular hobby like myself, it's a bit hard to talk about them other than to just feel like you're repeating the exact same thing over and over again. Nevertheless, let me know down below in the comment section if you want to go to Momocon or if you're thinking of another convention. I'm really excited and want to know about all the kind of conventions that are happening, especially those that focus on tabletop role-playing games. So let me know down below in the comment section. Finally, one last thing. The COVID policy is subpar. Masks are suggested, and I would personally recommend you should wear one at these larger conventions, but they are not mandatory, which doesn't make it the most successful for immunocompromised people and folks who are still COVID conscious, despite that COVID-19 is still very much a thing and, well, affecting lots of people. Anyhow, with that in mind, pick your poisons and see if Momocon is something you want to go to or not. With that in mind, I really have to say, I'll probably check out Momocon 2026 if I can and if I have the money. Now, with that in mind, I got some other things to take care of, and if you want to check out more about Momocon, check out this video over here from last year about how I felt from 2024. And last but not least, special shout out to my Patreon supporters, Harrison Parker and Paul Volpe for your continued support. You too can support me over here on patreon.com/blurdydisposition, as well as coffee.com/blurdydisposition here. And as always, I'm your average everyday queer, convention goer, and media and content creator, Blurdy Disposition. Hope you all have an awesome day. Ciao.